But Ed, amazingly, got pulled over on a racetrack, and they kicked him out of my event. So in 2000, we did this exotic car mountain drive, and reached out to a bunch of clubs, and I was heavily involved with the Ferrari club at the time, so I was expecting 30 or 40 Ferraris. And we got the 30 Ferraris, and then we got another 60 or 70 cars that just kind of wanted to tag along. I invited them all. And I couldn't believe the turnout that we got. And some of the cars that came out were truly amazing. At the time in 2000, there were a lot of car clubs around, and by bringing them all together, we ended up having about 100 cars, which at the time was the largest mountain drive in Georgia ever done. I mean, no one ever heard of it. It was completely crazy to see. It was a traveling spectacle. So I'm glad we had the police there to get through the intersections and everything. I couldn't believe how much fun that was. And we got revved back up. I mean, people started asking to do more events and, hey, get more involved. Let's do some more things. And in 2008, I did the BMW event. Again, it was just starting to have social media and, bulletin board and things like that. And we did, a couple of BMW club meets, and people were like, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Let's try it, just for fun. And so I had gotten married at Chateau Alon, and I was like, well, let's see if Chateau Alon might be able to do something for us. And of course they were like, yeah, sure, start your event here, and we'll drive it to Road Atlanta, and let's see how many cars we can get. I wasn't expecting a lot. I didn't know what the record was, but we did it. And we had 270 BMWs at Chateau Alon, drove them in a single parade to Road Atlanta. And we got some great shots of all the cars arriving at Road Atlanta and leaving. It was interesting to have Alex Roy was at the BMW event, and Ed was present as well. And from that point, I really got hungry, and I really wanted more. I wanted to, see how many cars we can get and how many more people I can talk to, and just all of that energy and enthusiasm and creativity, blossomed into wanting more, and creating a larger scale event, and just pushing the boundaries of what maybe what Mitch can do. Following the 2008 BMW event that we did, I was heavily involved with BMW and heavily involved with Ferrari and Porsche, and I was really, really getting into Porsche, and I had purchased a 944 Turbo from Ed. I just loved the car, so that kind of grew into wanting to, hey, maybe I do want to do something with Porsche. Maybe I want to do another record attempt. And speaking with the clubs, and I ended up getting sponsored by Porsche Cars North America. They said, do it. Do the event, have some fun, make sure that, everyone knows about it. I was like, oh, you got it. so that was incredible that they were so involved like that. And going up to the headquarters was just a blast. I loved that. I didn't know exactly what record we were going to go for. I was going to try and do maybe a parade on public streets again, but I spoke with the guys at Atlanta Speedway, and they said, well, we've got room to park all the cars outside. Why don't we bring them inside? Let's do a little parade and bring them inside, and we'll do a couple of laps. I was like, that's a really cool idea. And I started thinking, I was like, why don't we just do them all at the same time? We had 277 cars in motion at once, and just the sound was incredible. And just, everywhere you looked, it was just cars banking and coming around on those high bank corners. And I'll never forget the sound of Ed's car. That was one of my favorite things at my event, honestly. It was just great. Ed had brought a white 997 GT3 RS to the Porsche event. And as we were staging all the cars on the very front straight, you could even see the cars all just on the back straight, just kind of staging and getting in position. And Ed was one of the first cars in position, getting ready to go. We were going to go do some motion laps on Atlanta Motor Speedway, which was very exciting in itself, just seeing all those cars. So we're getting ready to go, and everyone's pretty much staged. And the fella that I had resold Ed's 944 Turbo to, for some reason, prematurely yelled, "Go." Ed took that as his time to get going and be out in front, and he was way out in front. He was the only one in motion at the time, and he was going, 170 miles an hour, and everyone was able to hear it going all around the track. It was absolutely fantastic. But Ed amazingly got pulled over on a racetrack and they kicked him out of my event. And so unfortunately he wasn't part of the world record, but he really made an impact on that and everyone talked about it. We're still talking about it now, and it really, really was a lot of fun. And poor Ed, I felt bad when he had to leave. That I had nothing to do with it, but I had done pretty much all the planning and execution of that event by myself. I had a lot of people that volunteered to help, and thank goodness I had them. And so we actually had the record for many years of the most single make cars on a racetrack in motion at once. And it took a factory effort at Ferrari Mondiali to beat that record. And I think what they have, right at 1,000, I think, and which was extraordinary. I wanted to be part of that, but I wasn't able to. And so that got me thinking again. And, the bug started and the feeling started. It's like, I think I might want to do another attempt. But what? What do I do? I had just purchased a E55 Mercedes, and I loved the car. And, the whole reason why I started doing this event and planning this Mercedes event, honest to gosh, was in honor of my mom. I lost my mom in 2009 to ovarian cancer, and her favorite car in the whole world was a silver Mercedes. She wanted a 380 SL more than anything. And at the time, my folks were in real estate and they were just starting to make some money, and Dad was going to buy Mom a car. She said, I don't want the SL anymore because we got the 2 kids. So she went and got a 280 SE, the big sedan at the time. And that little sacrifice meant a lot to me. And it always stuck in my mind. And I've just been a lifelong Mercedes fan. So I got this silver E55 that I just adore. And my wife said, why don't you just start planning, and why don't you try and do an official world record for the most Mercedes in a parade? And you've got a venue, I love Chateau Alon so much. And they said, come on, let's give it a shot. And at the time, what we were going to do was leave Chateau Alon and just drive up a couple of miles and turn around and come back to Chateau. But the town of Brazelton said, leave Chateau Alon and then drive to downtown Brazelton, and we'll have a little party and celebrate you breaking the world record. I was like, I like the sound of that. Let's try and do that. So that leads me into what we're doing now. And I've been working on it for a while, which was extremely difficult due to the situations last year with the pandemic. I didn't even know if we were going to get it done, but we had to reschedule the date. And as a result, we got the date, and we're pushing forward. We're about 50 days, maybe less than 50 days now. We're excited. We're going to do it again. So as a result, we're going to set a Guinness World Record for the largest parade of Mercedes-Benz ever done. And the current record is 384 cars held by a Chinese Mercedes-Benz club. And I'd like to break that record and bring the record here to Georgia on September 11th. We're going to do that in honor of my mom and in honor of Mercedes-Benz USA moving to the state, which I really like. And we're working with the Mercedes-Benz Club, so we're going to have a blast with it. So I consider myself really lucky because this is basically my way of bridging the gap to the car community. This is how I want to add my bar to the car community, and I'm very blessed and honored to have worked with car manufacturers and developing these friends and relationships that I still have to this day. I love to do big car shows and get people together, and it's those relationships that I really, really honor. And again, working with those manufacturers and with those car companies and those clubs to bring these types of events together is incredible to me. And it's just baffling that people can support these types of things. So I'm hoping that we have a similar reaction with this Mercedes-Benz event that we're doing. And I hope everyone can come out. And then after we do this world record with Mercedes, I'd like to do Porsche and BMW again. So I've got events coming up already.